Um, I'm Chi. I'm a retired psychologist, but I do shamanistic work and I do the divinatory process of the tarot. And I've signed on here to do a tarot reading for the public every week. And so today is the 21st, and it has to do with um, the moon Virgo. The reason I bring this up is because um, Virgo is the Hermit card in Tarot. And the Hermit card is about the awakening to your higher spiritual goals. And the light being held up as sort of the wisdom and the ways to obtain those goals. So Virgo and this the moon being in Virgo having to do with your subconscious patterns will be related to accomplishing things, getting stuff done, and maybe starting some new projects, but finishing old ones. We're getting to the end of the year, and that yearly cycle is winding down here. We want to complete things. Okay.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Now, I'm a student of the Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism, and the tarot readings that I do are based on the Kabbalistic system. The 22 major cards, the major arcana, represent the 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, and the esoteric interpretation of those letters. Each Hebrew letter will have either a universal principle, a universal law, or some cosmic force that's working through us all the time. Like the Hebrew letter Aleph, which is the Fool card, is the element air and represents the first breath of God, a cosmic force. Okay, so the reason I'm saying this is because a lot of my interpretation will be based on some of the principles of the Kabbalah, which is the tree of life, a working aspect of our spiritual body. And so this is a reading that will be related to what's going on here in the world now, but also the spiritual influences and even the laws and principles that could be having an effect on what's going on with you. Okay? Okay, so a little prayer. The tarot is an interpretation via the intuitive mind. Okay, first off, I have studied and I know a lot about the tarot, but I'm not in charge here. You see, when you do a tarot reading, if you do it properly, you turn it over to your higher self. So, in the name of the divine frequency, Ahaya, I turn over this process to my higher self, and I get my personality out of the way. Thank you. Get a drink of water on that one. Okay, so what's going on here? I want to say that in Paonia, Colorado, which is taking place, it's the most perfect weather ever. It is absolutely beautiful out there. The sun is shining at 75 degrees. Awesome autumn. Okay, one more time. And I hope it's, wherever you are, I hope that it's the same. I hope it's incredible and beautiful and it stays that way. However, tomorrow it's supposed to start raining here and then snow following that, and it's about to get cold. Okay. All right, so the Ace of Wands. Anytime you get an ace, it has to do with the beginning of something Uh, Ace is one in the number system, and so that's the beginning. 9 is completion. That's one of the methods of interpreting, one of the aspects that you use for interpreting the tarot. So this is about beginnings here, okay? That you're actually preparing for something new, something big, and you may have been planning it for a while, but today, because I talked about the Virgo thing, is this period here, the next couple of days, is a powerful day to ignite a new plan, a new dream. We'll say something that could unfold in the year 2023. Is that the next year? Mm-hmm. Well, these years are passing so fast. Anyway, so we're in a new beginning phase here, and maybe just the point of it. But what it's saying is that there's definitely opportunity for you to fulfill your dreams, start imaging what you want, and it's a good time at this point to ignite that process through this Virgo energy. Okay, so the Page of Pentacles now is crossing. It's crossing you, which means it's neither bad or good, or it could be both. But it's something that you have to deal with. And what it's saying is that in order for you to complete and fulfill things from this past year and be ready to start a new plan, that you need to keep things in balance. That even means what you consume, your food, and your exercise, and your work, and your family, your children, and keep that in mind in terms of staying balanced with what's going on in the world. And it's also because it's Pentacles, and I'm going to say the page represents heart energy too. And related to Pentacles, it has to do with aligning sort of your heart with, we'll say, the right business or the right area to continue going into. And that's all, and it could be a business, but it could be a spiritual training system, it could be a little bit of anything. But it has to do with the physical plane, it has to do with what your heart is longing for. So I ask you this question: what do you want? And you don't have to answer that, of course, I wouldn't hear it anyway, but I might. But you want to think about it and figure it out. That's sort of what this card is implying. Okay, beneath us, which is subconscious in nature, has to do with actually the idea that this is like the great American dream. That I talk about this wonderful weather today and how beautiful, it's like heaven here. Learning to appreciate the good times, learning to appreciate what's going on in your world. This is like a family with 2 children, with land and a river, a farm, so on and so forth. That you're actually in a very good place right now. This year's been good for you, and yet you're going to complete it, and you need to get ready for what's coming up. But that enjoy where you are, get rest. I recommend meditation, yoga, and have fun and celebrate the good things that have happened for you this year, that's happening now, and the potential. And by the way, this is the 3rd decan in the Pisces, and so it has to do with, we'll say, maybe psychic influences from the planet Neptune that could be evoking things within you. And when I say things, I mean even supernatural, like potential, and that sort of thing, what this is implying. and that you want to pay attention. If you're, for example, meditating to levitate, be careful. You might start doing it, and then what you got to do? So you want to think about what happens afterwards. Okay, so anyway, everything is good. Everything, it's a good time to meditate and be by yourself. But yes, be aware of what you're manifesting, the images that you're holding. Okay, this is behind you, and this is the Eight of Swords, and it's kind of a rough card, implying that you had some rough times this year, maybe. Some emotional things. She has her arms tied up and a headband around her eyes, and anytime there's swords, there's stress and that sort of thing. And so, but this has to do with like our performance in the world, how we show up, how we apply ourselves to what we're doing, and how we stay awake and not go to sleep. I mean, being aware in the moment of where you are. And this person is kind of lost, like, I don't know what I even want anymore, okay? And so that could be happening with some of us. And she's not able to see the future. She can't see. She's closing off. But what happens when you can't see is, that's when you go into meditation. You go into a deeper seeing. In shamanism, we go into our journeys, into the other worlds, into other planes, other dimensions, the future, the past, so on and so forth. When you can't see where you're going, expand yourself outward with your ability to imagine where you want to go. Okay, so, and it also reflects on the idea that you don't need to get caught up in too many past failures. Just let them go. The past is not something holding us back. The past is something that's helping us to get ready for the present and the future. So what this is saying, don't worry about change, invite it, welcome it in. The only thing you can count on in the world is change. A person told me a couple of years ago when the virus hit, he says, I'm afraid I can't predict the future anymore. And I said, I can predict it. Uncertainty. Anyway, you can always count on uncertainty. Change is good, always. It's a matter of perspective. Okay, so there's some things coming up, and these may be coming up in your dreams. You may not even be conscious, but you probably are, that there are some things that aren't working quite right for who you think you should be. Questioning maybe your self-worth issues and that sort of thing. And a lot of this is nothing more than shadow energy that we're all having to deal with right now. Things that we thought we had finished in psychotherapy with whomever for years and years ago, and it's coming back up. A lot of our old patterns are being activated in these yearly cycles now, so that we can get a grip on who we've been in the past, get some information on our incarnational trauma experiences, for one, and reclaim aspects of our soul through soul retrieval. Okay. And what I just said sounds like this card almost. This is the Hermit card, which is Virgo and the Virgo region of the body. And what this is saying that is that the next month or so could be very, very revealing to you. revelations from on high. The light beaming down to us, that the hermit is actually beaming you, filling you with light. It's also related to intuition and awakening your receptive cues from the higher frequencies. And we'll say, technically, through the Shekinah from God. Okay? And so that light represents the light of God, but it also represents all the work that you have to go through to awaken this light. Work like meditation. I do path working on the Tree of Life, which is working the spiritual body. Meditation in the process of journeying, doing active meditation. Any type of work that helps you to understand your spiritual nature is represented in that light. So what this means is that the next few months is an opportunity to actually get in touch with your own light, your own personal spiritual pathway, your destiny. Okay, it's in that light, and it's shining for all of us, and that has to do with the Virgo frequency too. The Virgo frequency has to do with potable gold, the illumination material that enters all of us through the sun, to wherever, and brings us intellectual and spiritual enlightenment. I mean, can't buy that at Walmart. Okay. Well, you might could, I guess. It depends on who you are and what you need. Okay, the next card, and this is related to ending up this year, the next couple of months, and into 2023. And this is a card, the Three of Cups, of enjoyment, having good fun, partying down, but doing higher spiritual work if that's part of it, but enjoy yourself. Don't get caught up in the systems, the matrix of the bad patterns or whatever, that they usually come up at the end of the year. It has to do with the dark night of the soul that we're going into here. Aspects of who you are for many lifetimes could be coming up for you to deal with. And it's probably been happening this year, but especially now it's the end of the year. And what this card is saying, have fun, enjoy yourself, and appreciate the feminine energy. Three women dancing, having a good time, having that free feminine flow, whether you're a man, whatever, endorsing the feminine nature and just letting go and have fun. So, I give you that. How are we on time there?
I don't even know what time it is.
Okay.
Because it's on my phone and it's recording.
Cool. Okay. All right. So the next four cards are the layout for the future. This is what you could be afraid of in the future. That's the first card. And it is the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups has to do with Pisces as well, and receiving, awakening to actually some, what I would call spiritual and mystical insight for people in general. But this person is going to a cave to sort of get away from the normal patterns and things going on in the world. But essentially it's just about meditation. So actually learn how to meditate. Learn how to go to your center, calm your thinking down, and just be there. And see what happens. See how long you can hold it. If you can hold it 5 minutes, fine. The next day you may do 10 minutes. But until you get this down, then you can actually embody who you really are at some point. And that's what we're all looking for. So, yeah, this is a mystical card in the sense that mystical information could be available to you about your true nature, about who you are, and what your true path is, which has to do with this light again, in terms of getting in touch with what I might call your spiritual contract, the contract that you had with maybe your spiritual parents in your first incarnation, that you're here to fulfill, because that's what we're here for. And that's sort of the first step in that process. Okay, here's a big one. And this is in the position, the first card was what we're afraid of. This is in the position of what is actually, what your future is going to be like. In 2023, we'll say. We're building up to that. We'll do a different build-up every week as we get closer. But remember, Ace is 1. We started out with the Ace of Wands. And 2 aces almost validates the idea that, yes, some new things are coming up here. We're just approaching it. And in the next few months, you're going to be looking at it, especially going into the first few months of 2023. But this is a card of, we have the cup with a dove above it, representing the heart, and Christ, the Christ consciousness, the awakening of your true nature, your true desire, your deepest sort of reason for being on this planet. And it's the initiation, that spark, that seed that will grow into your true acceptance of who you are. And that could be, we could say that could be the foundation for what's going on with you in 2023. You will actually be finding yourself, and you will be in love with who you are. You could call that Christ consciousness, but it's actually like embodying your true nature, which is God. Oh, one thing I want to say here, I was going to say it in the beginning, but I'll say it now. The Tarot is a spiritual system, okay? The word arcana, major arcana means direct revelations from God. That's what divination is. Arcana means direct revelation of God. When you get a card, what it's saying is God's saying, this is sort of what's going on in your world. But it's from a spiritual perspective, even though it might be related to your physical plane activity. Okay. And that was a good preface for this card. The devil made me do it. I didn't do it. The devil made me do it. Okay, the devil. Okay. Hebrew letter ayin. Ayin, and this is one of the higher spiritual cards. Ayin means eye or perception. What is the devil? The devil is something that you perceive or see the devil in. Someone, something, that person is the devil. Okay? Perspective. The devil to one person could be Jesus Christ to another person. Okay? You get my point here? This is about perceiving that actually God is everything. There's nothing in the universe that wasn't made by God, including what? The devil. I'll let you reconcile this on your own, but what this is saying is that some things could come up where you might judge yourself as being bad or doing something to hurt someone's feelings, even though you may have done it innocently, but you may have done it. And be careful about how you feel about that process. And, you know, from our culture, certain things will represent the devil. And if you act those things out, like stealing money, lying, of course, no one lies in this country, especially our federal government. Excuse me. Okay, so, but that's what's on the line here. In the Kabbalah, there is no bad. Well, actually, there's bad, but there's good, and they're the same thing. Okay? I won't elaborate on it now, but I did before, and hopefully you got that. The last card is the Fool, and this is the outcome. Now, the Fool is much, much different than people think it is. It's the Hebrew letter Aleph, which means air, the first breath of God, and it's this young being who is filled with the God essence and maybe acting like a fool, like Christ did a lot, you know. To some people, because he was, quote, filled with the God frequency, that they thought he was a fool. Okay? That's what this is implying, that you have the support of the breath of God in anything you're doing this year, this next year, 2023. It is yours for the having. Plan it, work it out, whatever it takes, and do it. It's yours. And we'll see how it goes over the next few months, but at this point, the potential is like unlimited. So I love you. Have a good week. I'll see you next week, and we'll talk more about the tarot. Think of this just for a second. The tarot comes from the Torah. Torah, T-O-R-A, the Torah. And it's a new spiritual system, a new frequency. We'll talk about that next week. Love you. Have a good week.